favorite. Oh my God, you have Kelsey. I even had people writing me going, it's about time you had Kelsey on. I was waiting for this. So you're in for a treat, Michael. You got to add her to your Arissa attorney list. Go easy on her, guys, Shannon says. Come on, Shannon.
Never.
That is not going to happen. Michael Webb, I'm a fan of you, bro. You have a
I like that. Maybe I'll be a new fan. Like, we're reserving judgment.
Well, he's Michael's no joke. Michael's a 401k nerd, so he's he's gonna have to wait till the end of the show till he can officially approve you. But Michael's a good follow because he definitely cultivates articles and content that are out there, and I'm pretty sure he puts a lot of thought into which stuff he shares, and I get a lot of value from his feed. So
I told Lauren in a conversation this week that I was going to have to expand my chat bar. So when he writes his paragraphs of questions for our guests, we can actually read them in time before they get pushed down the chat line. So now all of Brandon's screen is blocked.
Well, with that, I just expanded the chat bar just in case.
Well, good for you. It took me 4.5 months to figure out that you could expand the chat bar. So you're a much quicker learner than I am.
Yeah, Lauren's even noticing that your camera's better, Mark. A new location for you. It looks like a cleaner camera now. Life's really moving up for Mark.
Now, Lauren.
Hey, Lauren, you're not very perceptive. That what happened last week.
Well, your internet sucked last week, just like mine. So maybe it didn't look that great.
I don't think mine sucked last week. I'm going to be honest.
I didn't think last week's show was didn't strike me as very good as I was in the middle of it. But I watched it afterwards, go through it, and to try to get some edit stuff for Brandon, and it wasn't half bad. I thought it was actually pretty good after I watched it.
Nice.
I was questioning last week's show.
I bought them.
Bites. There's from Costco.
Yeah, they're. Well, I got them from Target. They're 15% alcohol popsicle.
Yeah, that could be dangerous when you've got like 14-year-olds in the house or something like.
We had
I guess I should say like 8-year-olds.
We had an ironic moment moving Ryan out of the house today, JD. And we finished loading up the 3 cars with what we can get out of there. And then he brings down a seltzer. He's like, we got to get stuff out of the fridge. So let's enjoy a seltzer before we leave and get on the road. And the seltzer's name is Flying Embers. I'm like, that is really ironic. We're sitting here trying to get out of a forest fire and you bring down a seltzer called Flying Embers.
I thought they made that stupid hard kombucha stuff too.
They probably do. It's Ryan. So
right.
Mark, what's the new patch you got there on your stomach?
What?
What's the new patch on your stomach there?
It's not new, dude. Does no one ever pay attention to anything that we do on the show?
We see you waist up.
Oh, okay, that's that one.
Jesus.
I just asked a question. I'm gonna get defensive, man. Jesus.
And we usually just see you waist up.
Calling you out, buddy.
What does Lauren have a problem with my beard? That beard needs a little TLC there, Raver boy. What do you mean it needs TLC? It's looking on fire.
JD, are we gonna do the idea that came out of last week though, the comment bar champion, or I forget what the
champion?
Okay.
CBC.
Add one more thing for me to fucking remember.
No, but here's the thing though. I think we all get a little bit of a vote there, and like some of the things, you gotta be careful what you say because you can get dinged for it. Like a comment like that. Are you trying to stand out, Lauren? Or are you just trying to be funny? Because that one fell flat, buddy. Sorry.
Although he backed it up with a rip on you.
Most of my jokes.
He backed it up with a rip on you. He's like, oh, goody, another great idea from Robe Guy.
He's all over Mark. Lauren is always all over Mark.
Well,
I think the champ is in the house. I think Amanda Iverson has joined us. the all-time
Amanda.
champion of the prohibitive word, Amanda Iverson. It's really just code for being the most drunk ever on a show, but
Ryan, hey, Ryan just tuned in and he's trying to chat to us on the YouTube side of things because he's live streaming.
Genius.
No
We
one
can't
goes
see
there.
it, Ryan.
hey, Mark, lame or game, all caps in the chat bar.
Super, super, super lame.
What's YouTube? Come on, Michael. You know better.
I get my little.
Me anyways, Lauren.
Lauren's adding up the points though. It's a
It
little
is.
zinger on Justin there.
Not really. A
Oh,
thing.
Amanda, I'm sorry. I was just joking. Damn it.
Just about to stick up for Mark.
Mark's mad at Amanda because he's still waiting for his patch.
Okay, Brandon just sent out an email blast because I'm getting 5,000 out of office replies right now. So
Nice.
my phone is going. Zzz, 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 zzz.
Hey, Mickey.
All right, want me to start?
I really wanted to sing the rest of that, Justin. Yeah.
Yeah, Brandon, if you're ready, let's get this shit started. Hello, everybody. My gosh, it's Thursday again. And you've come back. You've come back to join us for another episode of Retireholics. And I can't tell you how much that warms my heart. All of you 401k lovers coming to join us every Thursday. Sometimes I feel like 7 days is just too long. So it's great to see your faces again or your names in the chat bar. And we're happy to have you. It is another episode of Retireholics. And we've got a guest today. It's a really cool ERISA attorney with a huge fan base, which I'll talk more about. It's Kelsey Mustard. No. It's Kelsey Ketchup.
Oh,
No,
closer.
no, Kelsey Ranch. You wish. Ranch
getting
is
closer.
the bomb. It's Kelsey Mayo. It's Kelsey Mayo. everybody. Okay,
Your
sorry.
prop intros are tough.
The
Literally,
Or no comment
my
on
law
that,
school
huh?
friends, my law school friends actually called me Kelsey Wasabi for almost a whole year.
nice. The waves were okay today. They were pretty good. The water's warmed up, so I didn't have a lot of time to prep. So, I went to the fridge and we get what we get. Let's do a little knock, knock, knock. Housekeeping. Make sure you're in gallery view. That's the best way to do this thing. So you see everybody and not just the people talking. We love your comments. We love your chats. I say it every week. It is fast becoming the better part of the show is the chat bar itself. So please put all your effort into that. We're actually going to play a new game that Robe Guy came up with.
Uh-oh.
And we're going to call it the champion of the chat bar. So at the end of this show, we will all vote on who was the coolest commenter in the chat bar for the show. And Mark, you want to add a little color to that or your kind of vision here?
I don't really want to, but I will because you asked me to.
Okay.
I think
pass.
the idea there is that what?
You can pass.
Never
if you
mind.
don't say anything, just pass. It's okay.
No, I was gonna say I think we all are gonna have a little bit of input here if we're paying attention. And yeah, humor is gonna get you some points. Facts are gonna get you some points. Maybe making fun of another Retireholics can get you some points. But you can get dinged too. Like not everything's funny. Not everything makes sense. Don't use we use fact checkers. So be careful what you say.
Okay. Thank you, Mark. That was a great little summary. Kelsey, you know how this works. We are sipping on a beer And we also play a little game called the Prohibited Word. It was named by a fellow attorney, Fred Reich, back in the day. Yes, I'm name dropping Fred Reich. And if you say the prohibitive word, you know, that little video always hurts me because Fred said he liked Mark Palmini better than me. So I always kind of cuts deep. I am drinking a little vodka out of Hawaii for my penalty drink. I'm kind of excited about. Show everyone your nasty drink so they know you've got something. And the word today will be rule. What is Brandon got?
Oh, I got Brandon covered. What you got,
A
me?
martini
Oh, it's
spiked
the frozen
ice
thing.
frozen stick.
I
Okay.
might have to get some of those. It's hot.
Wait, hold on. What's the word?
Rule.
Everything around me. Cream, get the money.
Shut up.
Dollar bill, yo.
I thought you were setting me
I
up.
just wanna mention it to those who don't realize I just held up 3 bottles. I'm trying to multitask as my wonderful colleague Chad did a few weeks ago and do a bourbon tasting while I film this episode. So if you see me drinking that while I film the show and not paying attention, that's why.
Good
That's the
info.
nicest thing Mark ever said to me. He said his wonderful colleague. Thanks, Mark.
Oh, Tony,
Notice
thanks. Nice
I didn't
bottle.
call you my boss or the
Do
guy
like
who
my
signs my
bottle.
checks or anything like that.
All right, let's dive right into it. Nobody
Sorry.
likes the banter except for the really drunk people. So let's get right into the subject matter. We had this thing called the Secure Act. And I think that this whole COVID, coronavirus, CARES Act kind of worldwide disaster kind of took over the spotlight from the Secure Act. And so, dare I say, maybe it would be cool to go back to it a little bit and pull some of the things out of it, because I think there was some pretty cool things. What is Chad doing? Plugging your ears?
We've had the Secure Act conversation so many times. It'd be fun to see if we get anything new out of this one.
Have we had it on this show, the Secure
Damn.
Act conversation?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yep.
I don't remember.
Once or
But
twice.
okay, wait. Thanks, Chad. Way to kill the excitement from my subject matter that I'm trying to talk about with Kelsey. Jeez, man.
We're only going to talk about it for a full hour. No big deal.
I feel like that's a challenge. Like, can I get anything out of this?
Oh, I just
Wow.
think it's cool. I can tell you in my own stupidity, dumb self, I had kind of forgotten about all the things that were in there, and some of them were really neat. I don't know if this one's a really neat one, but I think it's an important one. Let's talk a bit about the allowing part-timers in. And I know that's still coming into the future, although we're going to begin tracking it. Now, Kelsey, as our guest, what kind of thoughts are you having around that? Are people sensitive to it? Do plan sponsors understand that it exists? You know, what's your take on the part-timers? And maybe first you can set the table if everyone's not as smart as Chad and they don't know the specifics of the part-timers coming in.
Yeah, sure.
Chad.
So, I mean, the very high level, right, basic point of it is that instead of being able to hold people out until they perform the year of service, you know, the 1,000 hours, if they perform, I think it's more than 500 in 3 years, then you have to let them in. Right. The good news was that we didn't have to go back and, you know, look at past years. So we don't have to let people in 2021, but we do have to start counting. But I think what's difficult about it is that we don't have details around the rules. And
You were close. You almost made it 4
Nice.
minutes.
Very nice. Keep going.
I
keep
might
going.
beat Amanda. Man, I'm gonna have to come up with like a synonym. I should have looked it up while we were bantering.
Can't think about it now. Just get back to your point. Come on, let's go.
So we, you know, I think one of the great things that at least is clear, the folks who you let in that manner don't, you know, basically get excluded for a lot of the testing so that they don't absolutely destroy the plans.
Right.
Yeah.
That was my
testing.
first fear when I read that headline of, oh, we're letting in part-timers. I was like, whoa, hang on a second. Like, what's that going to do? And as I read further, I was relieved to go, oh, okay, we're not going to include them in testing. So that's good.
Yeah. But what it does say is that, well, and two, you only have to let them into the deferral piece of the plan, right? You don't have to give them employer contributions. So that's also great. I think what's kind of problematic though is at least the one that's giving me personally the most heartburn is this business about if you do give them an employer contribution, then you have to apply special vesting. And I find that horrific, particularly because I don't know what it means. So, what the statute says is that if someone is participating as a result of this provision, then and they get employer contributions, then they're going to get a year of service for a year vesting schedule if they work 500 hours, not 1,000. Right. So I have John over here who, was full time at some point, and now has to work 1,000 hours to get a year of vesting service. And I have Jack on the other hand.
It's not fair.
Right. Who's getting a year of vesting service for 500 hours.
That is interesting. I thought you were also going to be concerned about, maybe Chad can chime in on this. We've ran into clients so many times that don't understand their eligibility as it is normally.
Yeah.
And you start talking to them, you find out that they've been excluding people that they shouldn't have been excluding, like, oh, the people over there in the warehouse, they're not part of the 401k. And we're looking at the document going, what gave you that idea? And so I'm concerned that we're going to turn around years from now and we're going to find a lot more of that, where people are just doing business as normal, not paying attention. And because, of course, if you've got an administrator, they're going to let you know at a certain point who's eligible, but you should have let that person start deferring. And so we're going to catch it after the fact, and it's going to be a big mess. And that's kind of a concern for me.
Well, the nice thing then is corrective action, right? If we capture it after the fact, at least it's only deferrals. Mm-hmm. It's not an employer contribution that we've got to make up in lost earnings calcs, right? And I imagine much like auto enroll features, we'll get some sort of leeway for clients that don't catch it right away and don't make it available to those participants, that hopefully they'll get a window to fix it and to make it right. Because what's really going to happen, and Michael just mentioned it, counting hours is a nightmare, is a minefield. The TPA is going to catch it when we get a census feed in June, when they finally submit it. And we say, all right, that's the third year they've submitted. They should be good and eligible. And that should have happened back in January, but it didn't. Right. And so it's going to end up being July, maybe, that this gets brought some attention.
Yeah. And I think, the unfortunate part is that the, lowest QNEC, you would have to catch it within 3 months. And so you may not get testing or the census in time for that.
Yeah. Chad, you're making it sound like it wouldn't be that big of a deal. I think it can be gnarlier if you don't allow people to defer and they wanted to, and you got to fix it. Yeah. The employer's got to pony up for some of that stuff. So it's
but look at auto enroll
to begin with.
Right.
But look at auto enroll and some of the leeway that's been given, because they want to encourage this of businesses, but they don't want to punish them. So I think we'll probably see something come down the pike that will give them a little bit of reprieve from the rules.
Maybe.
I couldn't avoid it. It was like the third time I tried to say it.
Let's shift to the tax credit. When I read about
go ahead.
Can I
ask a question? Kelsey, will these numbers be included in audits? So like if I'm about to break the 100 person barrier count, these folks going to be included in that count now?
Oh, good question.
I think they will. I don't know if the reason.
I haven't seen anything that said they wouldn't. So
I think you're right.
But that's a quick, big cost to the client for allowing those folks to defer.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You're saying allowing them to defer, but then I thought you were saying they're going to be eligible participants at that point. No,
eligible to defer, but they won't be receiving employer contributions unless you choose to. But I meant for audit requirements, will it bump them over the 100 participant count? Force the plan to be audited if they have 30 people that have been there 3 years that have all worked 501 hours.
That's a good thought.
It's funny. A lot of people in the chat bar, the vibe I'm getting is they don't like the added complications. Like, these plans are hard enough for plan sponsors to figure it out. The only thing I would say to the audience is sometimes I thank God that we live in such a complicated industry, because that's why people pay you to support them and help them. So the more twists and turns, the better professionals like all of you tuning in can help your clients. I was fired up on the tax credit because originally we had this little $500 thing. And now I started reading through this sucker going, wow, like people could get like up to $5,000, I think was the maximum. There was like a per head thing of 250. So I have some questions. I'm not sure I completely understand it. Are you comfortable, Kelsey, with just reviewing the tax credit for us? Or
some of them I can probably, I will get it a little bit wrong.
Let's chime in then. I think it was the greater of 250 per NHCE,
right,
or $5,000. And then my question, I think Greg already chimed in, or someone in the chat bar, is that $5,000 for 3 years, like 15K?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking it is. That's friggin' big time, man.
Remember, it's 50% of billable expenses though. So
right.
it's 250 per non-highly, but it still can't exceed 50% of your billable expenses. So if you had a 30-person plan and the only bill you're taking on is the TPA cost and it's $3,500 a year, then you're going to be able to get 50% of the $3,500 a year.
Yeah. And I think that the 5K is a max. It's not the greater of that formula or 5K.
Sure. You're right. That's not right. You got to be a bigger plan to reach that number. I mean, the math shouldn't be that hard. What is it? But
Justin just shared a link which Mark sent to us a couple of days ago.
There you go, Mark.
But it's a DWC link, and they put together an Excel spreadsheet that you just type in the number of eligible employees, the number of non-highlies, and then you type in your billable costs, and it does all the math for you for the next 3 years. Pretty sweet little tool.
With this new rule, tell me if I'm wrong. I feel like this creates a lot of opportunity for advisors on startup plans to maybe get paid what they should be getting paid. You know, I've always had this concern. You do a startup plan and say the thing flows 50K or 100K, and you're going to build in 50 bips or whatever the heck you're going to build in. You're not going to make jack shit for year 1, year 2, year 3. It's really a building process. Is this an opportunity for them to create a billable that then is offset, right?
At least to a certain degree. I mean, you know, they're still coming out of pocket by 50%, but it makes it a lot more palatable.
Creates opportunities. I gotta be thinking.
Well, remember, we chatted about this months ago, and the thought from some folks in the chat bar was, well, go billable for the first 3 years and then bump to an asset charge as an advisor. And I covered my head going, my gosh, could you imagine going to the participants and saying, your costs are going up by 50 basis points because the owner claimed a deduction for the first 3 years, but now they've moved it over to an asset charge. So participant costs are climbing. That would be a nightmare. There's no way you're going billable and then moving to asset after 3 years of a startup plan like that.
I don't know. I feel like you really could message that, because I think the key would be telling them up front that, hey, I want to make sure that your account gets started, so I'm going to cover it, but then it's going to move to you. You know, I think if you got out ahead of that, it would actually be like, wow, look at my employer adding more value.
I'm with Kelsey. I think done the right way. But I hear what you're saying, Chad. It's not crazy thought, and should be cognizant of it. But yeah. I think this is a big deal. And so I think if you're an advisor and you play in this startup space, and the great majority of advisors have to in one way, shape, or form, this could create a lot of opportunity. And there's other flexibilities here. Obviously, this can help with TPA costs. This could change your whole mindset in terms of products. Maybe you're going open architecture with a flat fee in the beginning. I mean, there's just so many options here. So I would like to see advisors, professionals unpack this a little more and think about how it can fit into their business model. Let's move to
leverage it. Don't be afraid to talk about it. Call clients that have been delaying starting a plan and mention this. This may be the catalyst that gets them excited to move forward, and getting more people covered is what we're all aiming to do. So
yeah, and Lauren brings up a good point, doing a hybrid, hard dollar, partial asset based, make it more palatable.
Great point, Mrs. Brandrup. You don't always have to, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. You can hybrid it in the middle.
It was still 2 full sentences, Lauren. You could have easily put that in about 8 words.
I got to keep thinking about who's my champ so far. I got to pay attention to this damn chat bar. Let's move to a third one, which I thought is super relevant. I know Chad gets all excited about this, which is the new kind of late plan adoption rules. Chad, are you excited about them?
I am.
Are you as excited as I am about my Maui vodka? Because it's yummy.
I can't believe you're drinking vodka straight. It sounds terrible.
My wife took my daughter to her college to drop her off out in Vermont. So it's just me and my 16-year-old boy who wants nothing to do with me while I'm here at the house. So it's on like Donkey Kong right now.
That actually sounds great when you have two kids that won't leave you alone.
I'm actually really sad. I'm just trying to act tough right now. I've been with my daughter for 18 years and now she left me and went to fucking Vermont. I'm never going to see her again.
Get that good maple syrup.
That's beautiful.
Kelsey, late adoption rules. We can now put in place plans like we never could before. What? What do you think about that?
I think it's going to be a great opportunity, particularly to start new plans. I mean, how many times have, people kind of gotten past their year, realized that they did better, really want to shelter some of that income, and it's too late. So I think it's going to be a great opportunity to get things rolling. I wish that they had made it effective basically for any plan year or for any tax year ending after 12/31/19 rather than for taxable years beginning after 12/31/19. It takes out so many of our fiscal year clients, but still.
My chihuahuas love late adoption. I don't know if you can hear them. They're super fired up. I just think from the advisors that Mark, Justin, Chad are working with, this gives them a whole new time period to be talking to prospects. I mean, this has got to be big news for you guys and the people that you support.
Well, I think we always, I think in our industry, we have this big focus on deadlines, right? It's like deadline. And now that the safe harbor deadline is a little bit, it's different now, right? The safe harbor deadline of 10/1 that we're also used to is only for the matching safe harbor. So this gives, as you're saying, a lot of opportunity to plans that are nearing, again, top heavy issues, for plans that are struggling with corrective distributions. I mean, I'm stoked about it. I'm excited about it.
That's a super good one there, Mark. Top heavy issues. I mean, you'd have to move to a 4% after the year closed, but now at least you can get the safe harbor protection. And even if you failed an ADP, you can give the top heavy minimum and still cover for ADP testing.
I like what Amanda brought up, Chad. She's wants everyone to refocus on their CPA partnerships, which is smart. These CPAs got a lot on their plates these days. It's hard for them to keep up on all this stuff. So good point, Amanda. Get back in there, knock on their doors, make sure they're aware of this stuff as these years keep coming at us. Go ahead, Chad.
Here's my technical question, because Kelsey, I couldn't really find the answer to this, but I think I got it. Mark, Justin mentioned safe harbor being 10/1 for a match. Get it. But adding a non-elective, it states that you can add a non-elective to an ADP tested plan. So the terminology makes me think that the plan already has to be in existence, that I can't add a non-elective on November 1st for a brand new plan. But could I write a document that is an ADP tested plan and then add in the non-elective safe harbor, say November 15th? So my plan starts November 1st, and then I add the non-elective in November 15th. So it's not a startup plan now, it's an existing ADP tested plan. And so that law should allow me to add the non-elective, right?
Yeah, I think it would.
Because the point that Mark brought up is that the deadline changed. In my mind, the deadline didn't really change. It's still 10/1, because you can add the non-elective later to an existing plan, not a new plan. Sure. So I was chatting with our VP of administration and saying, how do we do this? Do we write a document and put a special effective date for the safe harbor, a week later, so that we have an existing plan, but then the safe harbor taking place a little later? And she goes, this it's a stupid area that they didn't just say the non-elective could be added to a startup.
To documents and sign one a day later,
Yeah.
I mean,
That's going to be an interesting one because I don't think the whole community is talking about it that way. So, but I think that's the way we have to handle it.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I'm with Sue. I mean, I do think that a separate amendment is going to be the same.
how you want to address it with clients and prospects and strategic partners like CPAs. And so don't give up on the Secure Act. Go check that sucker out and see how much juice you can squeeze out of it, because there's some cool stuff there. Mark, you have a game. It's a pretty lame game.
It
Tell us about it.
truly is. Kelsey, are you familiar with the "Is it lame or are you game"?
Not entirely.
Perfect.
See, Mark, you asked that question, you bait them in. Now we know Kelsey has not watched Shelter in Place.
I know, I do.
It's been on every single Shelter in Place episode. Shame on you,
Can you
Kelsey.
blame her?
I watched it's not in all the 10-minute episodes. Sorry, guys.
That's true.
That's fair.
Short
Yeah.
edit.
Smart.
Good
She
idea.
watches the
Yeah.
short edits. That's
He
smart.
is an attorney. It makes perfect sense.
I mean, I am also East Coast, right? So it's a little later here than it is over there.
Not too many
Wait,
people.
is that how time works?
Yeah, she's done it twice.
No, actually.
No.
Mark, can we get on with your fucking game?
Whoa. Hey, we're just having some fun chatting, man. Apparently this is more intriguing to Chad than the Secure Act, okay?
True.
All right, well, this game, Kelsey, is just about some basic questions that I ask, and everybody here besides me, including yourself, gives their opinion on if it's lame or if you're game. So we'll jump right in, and I will always come to you first to get your opinion because you're the opinion I care about. The others I don't. So we'll just jump right in. Kind of going along with some of the chat that you and JD and some others were having on LinkedIn about your last name being Mayo. I'm just curious, is it lame or are you game specifically with Miracle Whip? Kelsey?
No, lame.
Miracle. Oh shit. No.
JD?
I love Miracle Whip. Like
Really?
honestly, I love it. Yeah, I'm so game. So game.
Absolutely.
Have you ever
So
had a
good.
Miracle Whip sandwich?
No, and I never will.
Just bread and Miracle Whip.
Chad?
No.
I'm in. I'm game.
Justin?
Absolutely.
What?
Justin's
Here's what I'm going to say.
Thank you.
They call it Miracle Whip for a reason. They're not even sure what it is. It's just a miracle they got it into the jar,
It tastes so
okay?
good.
It's disgusting, and all of you are nuts, all right? Next. Is it lame
Hey,
or
nice.
are you game? Justin, quiet, please.
Sorry.
Kelsey needs to hear the question.
Whip.
Is it lame or are you game? And by the way, I didn't do any research. I'm not sure. This can go to multiple levels if you have kids or not. But lying about your kid's age to like get them into places for like, Disneyland for less, or like, oh, hey, my son just turned 2. Yeah, mine. And we went to the zoo and it was like, yeah, he's still under 2. He's free still. What do you think? Are you lame or are you game? Is that lame or are you game?
Game. As long as you're not trying to get your 4 foot tall 2-year-old through.
Why are you talking about my son, man? He's only like this tall. Chad?
I'm game. I won't do it though. I make Brooke take the kid through. That's
Right.
the
I'm
case.
so
There's no
awkward
way.
about that.
I would break down in hives walking through that gate at Disneyland.
JD?
Okay, you guys are horrible parents, all of you, the lot of you. You need to teach your children rules. I will drink when I'm done. And I'm a rule follower. So that's 2. You need to follow the R word and teach your children to follow the R word. And I'm going to turn all of you into Child Protective Services.
Wow.
All right.
I think Mandy makes a good point. It's cool until you ask them to lie about it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
for sure.
True. We used to just tell our daughter not to talk. She was like
That's
2 years
even
old,
worse.
and one day we took her to Disneyland and she talked really well. We're like, hey, don't say a word. And I know you don't use pacifiers anymore, but put this in your mouth.
Wow.
At the gate.
That might be worse. Justin?
Can honestly say I've never done it.
Why?
What do you think?
You have nieces and nephews and things. I mean,
No, I'm totally game. Yeah. Rig
All
the
right.
system.
all right. Next question.
No
Kelsey.
kids.
on your phone, is it lame or are you game to have the little folders with all the icons that you put in there and you label it like finances or TV, and you put all of your apps into
Like
the other little app? What do you think? Is that, do you do that? So is it?
Oh, yes, he does.
Damn, that's
Yes,
a
he
clean
does.
screen.
No. Chad?
I'm game. Justin got me going on it.
JD?
No, I really enjoy like swiping through, trying to
Yeah.
go, where the fuck is that thing? I
Yeah.
can't find it.
Yeah, I like getting to the 9th page and realizing that I don't even have the app. Justin?
Game.
All right. You're really full of commentary today, Justin. It's great. Love it.
I just want to be clear that Greg, yes, I do also have my utensil drawer organized.
So does Justin.
Nobody questioned that. Nobody
doesn't?
questioned that.
For the viewers at home, Justin is super
Yeah.
organized. Yeah.
All right. Next question. Working out in your garage, but keeping the garage door open.
Nice.
Kelsey, is that lame or are you game?
Depends on what you're doing in the garage, but I'll go with game.
I said working out. I want to be
I
clear
know,
on
but she
that.
means like what kind of working out?
Okay.
Oh, no, sorry. I
Mark
thought like
doesn't work out, so he
working
doesn't get
in the
that.
garage, not working out. Like
Yoga,
no, working out.
lifting weights, riding
sorry,
on
that's
a
lame.
bike. Okay.
Yoga.
I don't know. Chad,
Lame.
Justin,
Lame.
JD,
It's lame.
who has the
What's
entire
your phone do, JD?
home gym in his garage?
I think my wife tuned in from East Coast on this show. She keeps the door closed. My daughters keep the door closed, but my son is a meathead who lifts weights and is always looking at his muscles. So he leaves it open so everyone could check him out.
World's got to see.
All right. Last question. Is it lame or are you game for putting stickers on your laptop?
Lame.
JD, you're next.
Lame.
Pretty sure you have stickers on your laptop.
No, I do not.
Chad?
Didn't we have this question already? And I'm saying lame.
No, I've never.
Sure.
Trust me. I try to remember what I don't think I've ever addressed this. Yeah, Justin, that's your laptop, buddy.
Is it lame if it's that one?
Oh.
All right, you get a
Thank
free
you.
pass.
Pass,
Lame.
yeah.
Still lame.
All right, well, you know what they say.
We still don't.
You
by
know
the
what
way.
they say.
Yes, there,
Let's
Mark.
say. Another rendition of the lame game by Robe Guy, Mark Palmini. Well done. I always enjoy that. I actually get sad when I have to go back to real 401k talk. Someday we should do an episode of Nothing But the Lame Game. You told me through an email that you have a kind of a specialty, as you called it, which caught me off guard a little bit. You said that you tend to deal a lot with bankruptcies. And in my little puny brain, I was thinking, okay, bankruptcies, 401k plan, what's the big deal? Like, don't we just term the plan and pay everyone out? So what do you got up your sleeve? Like, what goes down in a bankruptcy that you can talk to us about that's interesting or we should be aware of?
Yeah. I think the big thing here is, oftentimes in a bankruptcy, you all are going to be like the last people standing, the basically the plan's only hope. The employer just absolutely disappears. And oftentimes they've disappeared with missing contributions, with, 5500s that haven't been filed. There's no one there to do the audit. There's no money to do the audit. It becomes oftentimes a much more complicated process to get that plan terminated than it really should be. And so one of the things that we are involved a lot in bankruptcies because we'll step in with the bankruptcy trustee, because the trustee stands in the shoes of the plan sponsor and is responsible for getting all this stuff straightened out, getting the 5500s filed, getting the plan terminated. So we step in there. if they have a TPA, that's our best friend,
Sure.
because oftentimes you all know what the heck's been going on.
We've got all the info, right?
Right.
Make some sense out of it.
Yeah, we can figure out what contributions are missing. A lot of times there is preference for those in the bankruptcy. So trying to get the plan fully funded and then terminated really, really quickly. The bigger problem that we run into all the time is 5500s, because there's no one there to give a management statement for the audit. There's no one there. I mean, there's no money to pay the auditor. All these things, it becomes a real problem for the trustees. And we've had really, really crazy things happen in bankruptcy because there's no one watching. I think I mentioned this to you. It was in a bankruptcy situation where it was actually a TPA who did not know what they were doing, took all of our plan funds because they were upset that the record keeper was continuing to charge fees. So took all of the assets out of the plan account and then invested them in Russian hedge funds.
Oh, is that not good to do? I thought Russian hedge funds were all the rage these days. I need to change my allocation. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you later about crazy things you've ran into, but yeah, so that's interesting. One, and shame on me living in my little Disneyland world of bankruptcies, thinking like, oh, well, company struggles. I can't see you, Justin. I've got the chat bar over your face. So
that's effective. We got to address Brad's question.
Brad's question. Let's address
You
it.
had to relate each Retireholic's personality to a condiment. This is a question for Kelsey. Which condiment would each Retireholic be?
Oh gosh.
Oh, Brad should write the script for the show.
We're gonna go Marcus Wasabi.
Yeah,
He likes that.
on fire.
That's an
Like adding a little
exotic
spice
condiment.
to the group, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Spicy.
I don't think pickle is a condiment.
yeah, it is like relish, right?
Well, relish is a condiment, but
I don't
pickle-
want to be fucking pickle. Are you?
I don't want to be relish either. Either one's kind of tough.
Sorry, if someone has to be pickle, I was gonna make Chad pickle, so we'll go with that.
Oh,
I'm okay with that.
I'm the
That's good.
staple. I'm the ketchup. Come on.
Pickle
Well,
Rick.
I was gonna go with JD with ketchup.
JD's the mustard.
Not sure how I
Gotta
feel
be the
about being
mustard.
ketchup. That
It's-
seems
it's-
very
it's
boring.
because
Like
it's
that's like
red
the
complexion.
standard.
No,
I
but
guess
it's a
in
must.
that stance, it would be me, JD.
You're lettuce.
Shit.
Lettuce is not a condiment. What is that?
Necessity.
God.
Oh. Hey, put
Gross.
the mayo in there. It becomes the best sauce.
Oh,
Actually, Chad should have been Miracle Whip.
Oh,
I don't know
that's
what Chad should be. I
Thanks,
like pickle
Mark.
Chad.
I am a miracle.
Brandon, pickle Chad. We need a little, your little art that you do.
Yeah, I was
Your
like, yeah,
I'm on
he's
it.
gonna be a pickle in a second. There, he's gonna do the filter.
pickle Chad.
Yeah.
Oh, it won't work, B.
All right.
I didn't pick one for
Wait,
Justin, but I
what
can't
what was Justin?
Damn it.
I don't know. That's what I was thinking. I can't think of one.
I think he's
Nothing.
barbecue sauce.
I don't like barbecue
that?
sauce, but I like Justin, so I
I'm
can't.
sorry, you don't like barbecue sauce? Like at all?
Well, it depends. Like, what do you think barbecue sauce is?
I think that it's barbecue sauce.
I knew he was going to say that.
I don't know how to answer that question. It's something that I put on
In North
ribs.
Carolina, barbecue is a very specific thing, and it has a sauce that is not something that comes out of a bottle at the grocery store that you would put on like chicken.
Yeah, Brad is apologizing for spinning the show completely off the rails.
Seriously, Brad.
Oh,
I'm
that's
trying-
right. So wait,
My fault.
you're in
Sorry for
the
interrupting.
Carolinas, right?
Yeah.
Kelsey, that's for like barbecue aficionados. That's more of a vinegar-based area, right?
It is.
That's why. Okay.
Yeah.
How do you know that?
Yeah.
I was
very-
kind of
Dude, we are Rib Fest pros, bro.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm with Josh. You can be Worcestershire sauce.
There we go.
Oh, that's perfect.
jealous. I'm jelly. I'm
That's
fucking
the goal.
ketchup.
Yeah.
Do I have to be a pickle the rest of the show now?
Yeah, you're a pickle. You're a pickle. Pickle Chad. I like you like
All right,
that.
back to business.
Back to bankruptcy. Okay,
Yeah.
now we can move on from bankruptcy. But I thought that was interesting. I hear you. The people have gone missing. Actually, but let me ask. So you say like they're gone, but you had an owner of the company. I mean, you had a trustee. You had your TPA is telling you these names first and last and addresses, and they probably had money in the accounts. Like you can track these people down, can't you?
Kind of, but a lot of times they don't have any interest. Even if they have a fiduciary obligation, they don't have much of an interest in engaging.
They clearly don't have the same fear of the IRS and the Department of Labor that I have. Like I would be like, shit, I got to get this stuff buttoned up in some shape or form. Then they're not hearing that. I guess some are, but some just go MIA. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, some are, and keep in mind, like the trustee isn't the one responsible for filing the 5500s, right? So even if they're named as trustee, I mean, that can be kind of helpful, but it's really the plan administrator, and the plan administrator is usually named as the company. And when the company goes into bankruptcy, the trustee stands in their shoes. So they have arguably a limited obligation to be helpful to the trustee.
Interesting. I wouldn't think so. I'd love to talk to our staff. I think we always manage to get someone, but I guess I'm living in my little fantasy world. All right.
And a lot of plans, they do go easily, but some of them just are, they're just a nightmare.
Okay.
That actually has a good point. In DC plan, the participant account balances are protected, right? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, if there's missing deferrals in particular, a lot of times there can be preference in the bankruptcy estate to get them funded. So getting that figured out ASAP when the employer goes into bankruptcy is pretty critical.
Hey, Shannon.
He was asking if the 316 would help in this situation.
Yeah, actually, so Sue, there are instances, particularly with larger DC plans that we have that go into bankruptcy. We will go hire a 316 to take over and administer the termination or through the termination. So it absolutely is helpful. Depending on plan size, it can be too expensive for a trustee, but it can be very, very, very helpful.
I wonder if Sue knows any 316 out
Doubtful.
there. I don't know. Maybe she
Yeah,
does.
she's not well versed in that. But Kelsey, you were mentioning earlier, hard to pay an auditor, hard to pay folks. I imagine difficult to get a 316 to sign on that hasn't already been involved with the plan, knowing that it's going to be tough to get paid.
Yeah, there's a couple folks out there who actually will, who I don't know about specialized, but they do this sort of as a niche part of their business. So we know a few who we can usually get to sign on, but they do need to be sizable enough plans to bear the cost of it. As you can imagine, one of the big problems with being able to pay for the audit is, well, all these people got terminated, right? So they started taking distributions from the plan when it went into bankruptcy. So you end up with, 10 accounts bearing an $8,000 audit.
That's too bad, because what I would say is if those owners still have their account balances in there, I know exactly where to get the fees from. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be kidding, though. That's kind of the way it should go in that scenario.
You would think.
And there's no formal waiver from the department. We've been, this is one of my soapbox issues with doing advocacy work, is that I really want the Department of Labor to issue an exemption for plans. I mean, sort of like they do for orphaned plans, to issue an exemption for plans in Chapter 7 bankruptcy, because it just drains participant accounts with very little value added.
Yeah, you always need to be sensitive of that when there's those low account balances. Hello to Abby, Shannon's 13-year-old daughter. I saw that somewhere. What's up? Make sure your mom stops killing those animals on the kitchen table. It's not good. Go vegan. Can you give us any other horror stories from the ERISA attorney world? Like, give us some fun shit, some stuff that's gone really upside down.
Okay.
Story time.
Story time. I have had several instances of fraud in plans, and I think that's an interesting one because a lot of people, particularly auditors, don't really realize that it can happen. We've had the employer, somebody at the plan sponsor be the one that steals the assets. Oftentimes someone in payroll or HR, that's kind of the most common. I've had 3 instances where TPAs have stolen plan assets. That's a really difficult one. And I think the big thing, I actually have this whole 1 hour presentation that we've done at several conferences all about it is all about for your own businesses to protect your own businesses from some rogue employee that you hire. It's so much just about checks and balances. And so putting in, those good controls, I think is really, really critical. So I'll just leave you with that to say fraud definitely happens.
I think that's good advice because that's going to be my question is, okay, how do you prevent it, and of course it's got to be checks and balances. You got to put something in place. In terms of
for instance, we had one where the TPA directed the custodian to make distributions, fake distributions, but they were also the only one reviewing the trust statements, and they managed to turn off the trust statements to the plan sponsor. So the plan sponsor stopped getting trust statements, and no one at the TPA was looking behind them.
Well, I'm not sure if I should say this out loud, but I'm going to anyways, because screw it. I definitely think TPAs could do fraud if they wanted to. You have so many controls, and so you could cover your tracks, you could try to do certain things. So I definitely think that if you're an advisor and you're trying to vet out your TPAs, that's something that you should at least consider, right? To look at and make sure that you're working with a reputable firm. I know, Brad, that's why I said that. JD is getting suspect number 1. I know.
Didn't Advantage get away with $3 million or something like that? Or was it maybe
get away with anything, right?
Yeah. It was a lot more
than
that.
Brad, you haven't seen my yellow Ferrari out front. It's the shit. So
yeah, I think Vantage was 15 million.
Oh,
could one say that they took advantage?
Whoa.
Yeah, no, and I guess I would never put it on it. Thank you. I would never put it on an advisor to try to, check that stuff and look for it. In auditors, and those are large plans, you think they should. That's kind of their general rule, right? Is to make sure the money's where it's supposed to be. Right. But for smaller plans, you really just need to make sure that you've got good people on your team and that you trust, and I guess have a track record. By the way, did I mention we were founded in 1975 and we don't steal plan assets? Check us out.
That's right. I think that the advisor really can help their...
Wait, that's an odd graphic.
That's JD.
Sorry, Kelsey, go ahead. Hit us with some more. This is fun.
I was just saying, I do think that the advisors can actually, this is something that they can do is, be sure in vetting TPAs that they do ask those questions and ask about controls and ask about bonding, things like that, because then they will navigate to the established TPAs, not to knock the startups or anything like that, but there is more risk there. And in one of the situations, the situation with the Russian hedge funds, that TPA it was an established firm, but the founder had stepped away and a family member who was not versed in TPA world took it over. And honestly, she did not realize that what she was doing was horribly illegal. So, watching, having, I think the advisor helping to watch out for those kind of material changes and important things is a big value add.
Well, let me circle back. If you're an advisor and you're doing quarterly fiduciary review meetings in one way, shape, or form, you're definitely looking at where assets are. And unless you're in some weird alternative assets where people are giving you statements on napkins, you should be able to kind of confirm that stuff. So I would argue that a good advisor at the helm doing proper review is helping you confirm that the assets are where they need to be. So
And getting
yeah,
statements directly from the custodian.
right.
That would be a big one. So many
Right.
times statements that come from
it's weird assets. Yeah, it's weird assets that get you in trouble, right? Where people can manufacture statements.
well,
Good old-
or the TPA says, hey, custodian, send it to me and I'll send it to the client. I'll send it to the advisor. Then the TPA doctors it. Or whoever the intermediary is.
Whoa, did you see today in the news? And you're innocent till proven guilty, but there were people that did a GoFundMe to build the wall, and they raised like 25 million. It was one of Trump's advisors, and I'm not getting political here, Bannon.
Bannon.
And then two other individuals, and they drug them into court today because they were siphoning money off of this GoFundMe to build the wall. So anyways, breaking news here on Retireholics, everybody. Check it out. Okay, we've got another little game that we're going to test out. And if anybody doesn't like the game, it was Mark's idea. Mark,
I have no idea what you're about to do. No.
It's called CEO or Con, Kelsey. And I'm going to show you it's by the way, I parlayed that perfectly and not on purpose.
Yeah.
It's called CEO or Con. I'm going to show you a picture of an individual and you need to guess. Are they an upstanding CEO or are they a convict, someone who's committed a crime?
Recycling old content. Love it.
As he's doing that, Greg, you are killing me with these comments. I'm just laughing.
Ooh, Greg's at the top of her list.
Not a good fiduciary.
Dang it. Brandon, are you there? Or has he had too many of those popsicles?
No, I'm here.
CEO or Con?
You want me to throw it up? I thought you were gonna cue me in. All right. Here we go. First one.
No, don't throw it up.
Oh.
Is that a CEO or Con?
It looks dirty.
Can it be both?
I want to see if there's any comments. Don't look at the comments,
you're
Kelsey.
not allowed to look at
Okay,
the
I won't
comments.
look at the comments. I'm gonna go with Con. I don't know who that is.
Depends how you feel about Amazon. Depends how you feel about Amazon, because that's Jeff Bezos.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I was gonna say that was JD without a beard.
Oh God.
There.
He does look like ketchup.
Chad, he looks more like you than he does JD.
Is that?
Thank you,
I
Mark.
could never grow hair like that, Mark.
I'll take that as a compliment.
You can tell how many CEOs I follow. I feel like I'm gonna really suck at this game.
That's
All right.
Bezos, but I'm sure some people think he's a criminal, but I don't. He's successful. All right, next one.
See, I don't know who this is either. If I'm supposed to,
You just guess.
I'm just gonna keep going with Con.
Well, you're bound to get one right, I guess, if you go that way. Bound to get one right. This is Jan Lewin, the Polka King. He used his investors' money to fund his touring polka band. Brandon, do you have any other insights?
Played it Home Alone, right?
There was a documentary or mockumentary made with him with Jack Black
Okay.
on Netflix.
Hey,
The Polka King. Check it
You're
out.
1 for 2. Yes, Chad.
by the way, Shannon just gathered
Good point.
500 points for her
Whoa.
comment that if Kelsey gets it wrong, she needs to drink from her penalty drink.
So to be clear, Shannon and I were on the same page, which is why I drank after the first one. I just assumed that was part of the game.
Kudos.
Shannon,
It should be.
those
Thank you.
are not the rules to the game.
Shannon, that is a great addition to the rules of this game. Thank
Chad, I don't know if it's just me, but your volume went way down.
Mark, don't tell him that's good. I like
Oh,
it that
okay.
way.
Sorry.
Okay, next
so
one.
Greg
There's
is saying
one
I have
more.
to use the flask?
There's
Oh,
Kelsey, there's one more. If you get this right, you're a winner because you get 2 out of 3. If you get this wrong, you're a loser and you must finish your entire flask in under 3 seconds. I'm kidding. Okay, here we go. What's it going to be? CEO or Con?
I don't know who that is either. I'll go CEO.
Damn it, you got it right. That is Jeff Hawkins, the founder of Palm. Remember Palm?
Yeah.
The old
Phones.
phones? Yeah, founder of Palm.
Oh, yeah.
And he's currently working on artificial intelligence, which will
Oh, like a Palm Pilot. Okay. All right.
Rating.
yeah.
AI.
Well done. Well done. With that, since you got 2 out of 3, we're going to celebrate with Shannon Edwards' favorite game. Brandon, spin that wheel of ice and let's see who the lucky loser is today.
The wheel of ice, the wheel of ice.
Come on, let it be Kelsey. Let it be Kelsey.
Oh, it's fucking Mark again.
Here, Mark.
Mark's
Can you
always the
believe
winner
it?
at this game. It's not fair.
It's
Yeah.
Mark again.
Never rigged, Tony.
Not
Okay.
rigged, Tony.
I'm completely out of subjects. Chad, what do you want to talk about?
And I feel like we've properly filled our time. So
Yeah, you got 6 minutes. You
Hey,
work
I
in this
asked
space.
I asked this question of Nevin because I'm genuinely curious, and JD said I failed dramatically. But if you could change one thing in the retirement plan space, what would it be?
Top heavy. Well, I
Sure.
feel like there's
Great answer.
there's a lot of I don't know. I just think that there's enough layers of non-discrimination testing. One of them needs to go. I choose top heavy.
I
I
wish
think
I
it's,
could.
especially with the groups that it tends to impact are closely held small businesses, right?
Yeah.
It's not the large corporations that are able to heavily fund key ownership or key executives. It's the small mom and pop shop that the owners have been there for 30 years and they've had turnover that has happened over those 30-year period, and now they have a large balance.
Right.
And that's really unfortunate when they're the ones that get hit. So I love
Yeah.
that answer.
I think that's a phenomenal answer. Of all the rules, the top heavy seems the most kind of weird, ridiculous, pain in the butt one, and I hate it because a lot of times you can't be proactive with it. You can only be reactive with it, and so it just creates a mess that you have to unwind and fix. So I think that was a great answer.
Hey, JD.
yeah.
Ryan, Chad's brother, wants to know if you can get him on the guest list for your performance coming up here.
Oh God, yeah, that's my alter ego.
That
my
does
alter
look
ego.
exactly like JD. That's fair.
That's my alter ego. Okay. How about this?
Jeez,
I
that's
got a little comment from Tony Davis, who I know is here today on, I don't know if you saw it, Kelsey, he tagged you in it and on LinkedIn today. And he said, always great to see another great guest you've lined up. Thanks, Tony. That's very kind of you to say. Kelsey Mayo, perhaps you can answer a question I've long struggled with. When is it ever good to have your name follow the word even? For example, the game was so lame that even Mark agreed. Another example, the plan design was so simple, even JD could write the document. So you get the drift. It's even, then Mark, even, then JD. I'll be tuning in for the answer. Tony, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and I have no idea what this question is. So are you trying to be intelligent? Is it a twist? Is it like a puzzle? I don't know. Maybe Tony can comment. I have no idea. Mark, comments? You know what's going on here? Is Tony just crazy?
I mean, I get what he's saying, but I don't get the question at all. I don't see where there's something for Kelsey to answer. So I'm glad you pointed that out, JD, because when I read it, I was like, I read it again. I'm like,
I'm looking for Tony to write. He's probably like, screw you, JD. Why are you ripping on me?
Hey, I get it.
I did read that numerous times and went, I hope that's not a real question.
Okay, I'm not the only one.
It makes sense though, and I commented earlier on it. If you're following the even, then it's not a good thing.
It's never going to be a good thing.
Never going to be a good thing.
Yeah, it is. Okay. Yeah, I can make one up that's good.
No. I got one.
Yeah.
It was so important, even Kelsey showed up.
If it was so important, even Kelsey what?
Even Kelsey showed up.
Well, I think we need one that's
She
like
flipped it. Like now we're worthless.
Tony says that doesn't work. How about
I had one. I lost it. Hold on. Give me a
It's
second.
such a big event that even Mark was there.
Nice, Chad.
Boom.
Same thing.
That was Kelsey's.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's the same thing.
He says not bad. I I hate it when attendees of our show ask stupid questions, even Tony's question.
Tony was up there in good comments tonight, so it sounds like JD's docking him some points.
Okay, that's a great point, Chad. We're down to 1 minute. Let's start with Kelsey. Who is your champion of the chat? I'm gonna struggle.
I know. I think I'll stick with Greg.
Ooh, Greg Greenfield. Yeah, he's always solid in the chat bar. Okay, Chad.
That was mine as well.
Wow. Justin?
I think it was Greg who had the Billy Madison quote first, so I'm going with that one.
Wow, way to go with what everyone else goes with. Was he the Billy Madison?
I'm looking for it right now. Or no, not Billy Madison. It was shit. It was a good movie. Good job. You win.
I'm going with Greg for the use of the word meta. Like
Mark?
that. Okay.
Not that it matters.
Not
You
that it
still
matters,
cast your
no.
vote.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Shannon S-words.
Nice.
S words.
I'm gonna give it to Mrs. Lauren Brandrup because she's one of my favorite attendees on the show. And okay, so Greg Greenfield, congratulations. You have won a Retireholics swag bag of gifts that will be sent to your office. Unfortunately, I'm the one in charge of sending those.
You'll get it in a year.
And
Just
I get
ask Lauren.
distracted a lot. You know, it's good intentions. I want to do it, but I would look for that shit sometime in 2022. It should arrive
About
after
the time you start worrying about part-timers being in the plan from Secure Act is when you can deal with it.
You must remind me 8 times via direct message, and I will get that shit out to you. No, I actually, hey, if you're listening in, I did send out about 9 care packages the other day to different people. So maybe you're one of those lucky ones. I don't know, but congratulations, Greg. And everybody, thanks for
on your bio.
What's that, Kelsey?
Put it on his bio. Make sure he puts it on his bio. It's a big award.
Yeah, sure.
That's a big award. Thank
I
you,
did-
Kelsey.
I did notice that Amanda wasn't kidding. Amanda Iverson took all of her acronyms off of her name on LinkedIn. And when I saw it, I actually felt horrible about it. I had a moment where I was like, did we shame her into that? And she completely took them off. She said, told you. I
Yes,
said,
you
He
did.
said yes, you did.
Shit.
okay.
By the way, I've had the
Yes.
chat covering me this whole time. You guys didn't tell me that there was like light reflection just glaring off of my entire screen.
Chad,
Sorry.
you've had a subpar effort today, and it's been great to watch. Yeah,
Oh, thanks,
Oh,
Mark.
so good.
Mark,
you started off with a kind comment. You finished with a shitty one. I appreciate it.
how was the bourbon tasting, Mark?
I gotta get to it. We gotta end this
Okay,
stuff,
okay,
man.
all
I
right.
got 30 minutes to
Everybody,
go.
thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it. We will see you next Thursday. I've got a mother and daughter team guest. You'll have to guess who that is and check out our post next week to find out who that is. But they'll be with us next Thursday at 4:30. And thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Kelsey.
We love you guys. You guys are all awesome. You little 401k freaking nerds. What are you doing on a Thursday tuning into this stupid show? Get a life. All right, Brandon, play the music.
Let me hear you people in a See you later.